Now, the title of the video sounds a bit dumb, because it is, but I don't necessarily think it's wrong either. As you see here, Roblox has way too many of these games. Yep, I'm still scrolling. I genuinely feel that these games are, how do I say, a plague upon society. And since I'm making the claim that these games are doing more harm than good, I think that I should try playing a bunch of these games to really substantiate my claims. And why not start with the creme de la creme of Brainrot games, the originator, Steal a Brainrot. And luckily in a previous video I already explained it, so I'm just gonna...
Basically, you have a base. Your base has some slots that can hold some quote-unquote brain rot, which generates passive income. You can use the money that you generated to buy more expensive brain rot. And then the more expensive brain rot generates more money, and then you can use that money to buy even more expensive brain rot, which generates even more money, and you could probably understand where this is all headed now. Also, I forgot to mention that you can steal other people's brain rots, hence the name. So to prevent that, you have to lock your base every 60 seconds, because if you forget, someone can walk into your base and steal your shit.
Yep, this is one of the most popular games on Roblox, yay. But now that you have a baseline expectation of the Brainrot games, let's take a look at the other ones, shall we? In this game, you try to dodge tsunamis while you collect Brainrots to make money. In this one, you try to cross the street to collect Brainrots to make more money. In this game, you try to break down walls to collect better Brainrots to make more money. In this one, you try to LARP as Brainrots so that you can steal them and then make money. In this game, you crawl under mines to find Brainrots to make more money. In this game, you roller skate to get Brainrots to make more money. In this game, you swing across canyons to get more brain rots to make more money. In this game, you try to find brain rots underneath the sea to make more money. In this game, you break into jails to get brain rots to make more money. In this game, you power wash to get brain rots to make more money. In this game, you ding dong to get brain rots to get more money. Shut up! I get the idea now. It's pretty clear what the loop of all these games are. But alongside the game loops, there are more things that most of these games, if not all of them, have in common. For example, microtransactions, pay to win, loot boxes, and battle passes, you name it, we've got it only here at Roblox.
And yeah, I guess.
Also, did I mention that in some of these games, they let you watch ads for shit? Wait. You can watch ads in this game for token shards. They actually have fucking ads in this game. What? Granted, it is the same ad over and over again, and that ad is about buying Robux, even though I'm already playing Roblox, but for an adult, that makes no sense, but for a kid, you know, that kid is gonna be encouraged to go to their mom and be like, "Mom, can I get a credit card to buy fucking Robux for the 19th time?" Now, is this a good thing? Obviously no, but it also is the least of my worries. The thing about all these practices that try to get kids to use their mom's credit card, it don't work if mama says no, you know? It doesn't matter how much you want to pay to win your way into Steal a Brainrot. If your mom isn't giving you her credit card, you ain't getting shit. No, my issue isn't with the monetization with the game, although it is bad. My real problem is with the content of the games itself. Welcome to class, kids. Today's word of the day is going to be instant gratification. The pleasure or satisfaction that you get from something immediately without having to wait or work hard to get it. Examples of this include impulse shopping, eating fast food, and doom scrolling on social media. And I'm mentioning all of this because these Roblox games are exactly this. These games don't really take much effort or work to play, and they just constantly bombard you with shit that gives you dopamine hits. And look, I'm not against instant gratification. When you come home from a long day of work, sometimes you just need some of that dopamine, you know? But here's the thing. Little Timmy coming home from first grade doesn't need instant gratification, okay? Yet he's still playing it on his little iPad for like 5 hours, while it does not help that these games are targeting his specific demographic, aka literal babies. Now, this isn't concrete proof that these types of games are targeting little kids, but do you know what other game I know that has these brain rot slop games? Wanna take a guess? This shit is so ass, bro. I was both surprised and not surprised that fucking Fortnite also has Brainrot games. And if you can't tell, they basically play exactly the same as the Roblox ones. Look, I get that AI Italian Brainrot is only really appealing to little kids, but honestly, I feel that these games are better off for the hardworking, tired adult rather than the young kid who has an abundance of free time and a lot of energy. I really feel that kids having this level of instant gratification probably isn't really good for the development of their brains. But don't get it twisted, because I'm also not really saying that they're not allowed to play games either. Look, I don't want to sound like the old guy across the street, but
You know, back in my day, we didn't have these types of games. I had to go on newgrounds.com and wait 10 years before I was able to play Sonic Ultimate Flash for the 19th time.
look, the point is, am I really gonna sit here and say stuff like,
Back in my day, our games were better than what kids are playing now.
you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna say it. The games kids played back then are low-key better than the games kids are playing right now. To defend my point, I played a lot of games as a kid, and I think a lot of them were better than fucking Roblox Brainrot. When I was really young, I played a lot of Lego games as a kid, but I don't really know if that counts because I was so young that I had to have my dad read everything for me. That said, I still think Lego games are better for you than Roblox Brainrot. A lot of them required simple puzzle-solving skills, which are great for kids. Not only that, but they included reading, which kids nowadays really need. Then when I got a bit older, I moved on to Minecraft, and I really don't need to explain why that one is good for kids. Outlets for creative expressions are good for any kid, which is funny because Roblox also has that in the form of game development and creating your own personal experience. The only thing is that I guarantee you most of these kids are not doing that and don't care in the slightest. But then when I moved on to around middle school, that's when I got into shooters such as Counter-Strike and Overwatch. There's no doubt that shooting ahead is instant gratification, but let's talk about the competitive aspects. The idea that kids are trying to actively improve at a video game is, in my opinion, pretty good, right? When I started Overwatch, I was around gold elo, and then in like 2 or 3 years, I moved all the way up to Grandmaster and was playing in lobbies against pro players. I don't know, I think there's hella value in that, at least when compared to Roblox Brainrot. Now, assuming you agree with me about the notion that games back then were better for kids than games now, which is basically just an unk test, you might be wondering, how did we get to this point? Now, this is an extremely loaded question with many different parts to the answer, and it's low-key kind of outside the scope of this video, and also low-key outside of my expertise being a part of the Gen Z. You know, I only now just found this when making this video, and god damn, this is strangely accurate. But I have watched quite a few unks talking about their gaming experiences on YouTube, so I'll try my best to give a short answer. Basically, free-to-play games weren't a thing back then, so if you were a kid, you only bought a few games a year, and once you did buy the game, you were stuck with it, which meant that what matters for developers was just simply make a good game, which also means more leeway in game development. For example, having a challenging game which fucks you over and over again, but all that consistent failure that only makes the victory at the end sweeter, baby. Skip to the present and F2P games are everywhere, and if you're a kid, that's what you're going for because your parents, unless they're rich, ain't buying you a $70 AAA game, brother. Which also means that you're extremely spoiled for options, especially on Roblox. So how do you decide which games you want to try out and by extension which games you want to stick to? Well, it's the same as a few decades ago. Just whichever game is more fun. But now there is a difference. Now picture this. You're a 6-year-old lobotomized kid. You're playing fucking Drink a Brainrot and you accidentally drink a poisonous tung 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 sahur. You die and you lose half your money and now you're angry, pissing all over the carpet and throwing your iPad everywhere. What do? Well, this was like the 90s. You're fucking stuck with that game and you just gotta tough it out. Buggo. But now, you can just up and leave and find a game that gives you that instant dopamine. See, we're going back to instant gratification. So basically, these guys are incentivized to make games that hit you with as much dopamine as fast as possible. But all of this for what? Why are we making so much slop for kids? Well, remember when I said,
It don't work if mama says no, you know?
well, depending on your mama, she might say yes. Multiply by like 1,000 mamas, and your Roblox game that took you like 10 cents to make just made you a fuck ton of money. So at the end of the day, we're making all this shit Roblox Brainrot slop because it makes easy money off parents who don't really know much better or are just lazy as fuck. But it can't be that bad, right? Kids wasting their mom's money on random bullshit that they don't really need isn't really anything new. So how is this quote-unquote destroying society? Well, I've been harping on it all this time, but just haven't explained why it's so bad. It's the instant gratification. For an adult, getting used to it is bad, yes, but your brain's already been developed, so it's easy to reverse if you're willing to put some time into it. But for a kid whose brain is not quite fully developed yet, getting used to instant gratification can be a near-death sentence. Okay, that might be an overstatement, but it's not good. Kids getting used to instant gratification can lead to them becoming extremely impatient in many important aspects of their lives. One of the most important aspects is their ability to learn new skills. The foundation of learning any skill is failure, but failure does not feel good. So kids used to instant gratification usually just give up at the first sign of failure, you know? So when the kids grow up and they become way too impatient in things such as relationships or financial management, or if they give up at their first attempt at anything, sure, it might not be too bad now, but what happens if this trend keeps growing? Does this look a little grim? Yes, because I'm pretty sure the rate at which more and more kids are playing these shit games is growing. I don't really have any statistics to back this up, but I do have an anecdotal story. When I went to Vietnam, I went to this family's house. They were acquainted with my mom, but I knew nothing of them. They had a very young son. He was like 4 years old. He was the definition of a spoiled brat. He was really fucking annoying and would do shit like throw boxes at me. So to shut him up, unsurprisingly, the parents gave him his iPhone. And guess what he just does? Yup, he just doom scrolls on TikTok all day. And when he does watch long-form content, it's Vietnamese, super saturated brain rot Roblox videos. I remember seeing that kid, and the only thing that went through my mind was, he's cooked. But still, I think a lot of kids have a healthy relationship with these games if they are even playing these games at all. And who knows, maybe in a few years the parents get smarter, or the new generation, if they have kids, maybe they'll raise their kids better, at least in this context. But if that doesn't happen, society will probably actually collapse. So the moral of today's video, don't let your kids play Roblox Brainrot games, and I think to heal the brains of our youth, we should force them to play 50 hours of League of Legends. If you like this video, check out my other stuff, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye!